Hey guys, Justin here with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we're taking a closer look at and installing the CVF 3-inch catted downpipe,
available for all 2015 and 2016 3.5 liter EcoBoost F-150s.
Now you guys should be considering the CVF downpipe for your EcoBoost if you'd like to go with an affordable 304 grade stainless steel option to help increase the power and sound on your rig without the need for any aftermarket tuning. Now, I'm talking features here with the CVF option. I'll say part of it is going to be the affordable price point given the premium materials, but we'll talk more on that in the construction section later in the video. What we will talk about now is the added sound and power you can expect when bolting something like this up. Now, as you guys heard with our sound clips at the start of this video, you will hear a little bit more out of the stock system in regards to both volume and turbo noise, but those gains really become apparent once you pair up this downpipe with an aftermarket exhaust. Now, it's not going to be as aggressive when it comes to sound or power as, say, a catless option would, but as we all know, those are not legal. So nevertheless, I would still expect a small bump in power here and sound when adding the catted option. So breaking out my Wake the Neighbor scale, I would essentially add one level of sound, if you will, to whatever exhaust you're adding this to. Now, what I mean by that is, say the stock exhaust is a 1 out of 5 on our Wake the Neighbor scale. Well, then installing the CVF option will bring that up to a 2 out of 5 and so on. And the same can be said for power. While owners should expect a little bit more power with the CVF option bolted up, this is going to be minor in comparison to those more aggressive off-road or catless options that, again, aren't necessarily legal in your state. So just bear that in mind. You can certainly bolt this thing up and go without any custom or can tuning. As always, sure, a tune is certainly going to help increase or maximize those gains at the end of the day, but you should know it is not necessary. But moving into construction, and again, as I mentioned earlier, this could easily be another one of the features here. I say that because of the premium material used for that low price point. The CVF is going to utilize that 304 grade stainless steel throughout for the build, which, let's face it guys, is one of the best materials when we're talking about things like corrosion resistance and long-term durability. Helping that durability even more will be the fully TIG welded design throughout. Guys, for a very affordable option, at least in comparison to some other downpipes here on the site, the welds on this thing are absolutely beautiful. You're also looking at that 3-inch mandrel bent tubing. Yes, it does neck down a little bit here at the turbo, but outside of that, 3-inch mandrel bent tubing throughout. All of your O2 bungs are in place, pre-welded for you, and it does include all of the clamps needed for the install. Now again, this kit does include the 400 cell high flow cats. It is a catted option, which is nice to point out. And then last but not least, because this is 304 grade stainless, you are getting that really good corrosion resistance, and the companies will typically have no problem giving you a lifetime warranty with something like that. And that will be the case here again with the CVF option. Now let's move into our pricing segment here, guys. And as we mentioned earlier, very appealing because at the time of this video, the CVF option is currently the most affordable catted downpipe boasting that 304 grade stainless, coming in right around that low $800 price point. Now, by the way, that is far more affordable when compared to other options from SPD or Speed or even Stainless Works, both of which are going to be well north of $1,000 for a similar build. Install, according to the site, will get a very strong 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking about 4 hours or so to complete from start to finish, depending on your lift situation and your mechanical ability. But now let's throw things out to the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
For this install, you need a 3/8 impact, a couple 3/8 ratchets, a pry bar, a couple of different length 3/8 extensions, a 3/8 universal joint, a 21, a 15, 15 swivel, 13 swivel, and 10mm swivel socket, an oxygen sensor socket, a 22, 18, and 15mm wrench, a mallet, spray lubricant, and also not shown be a lift and pull jacks. All right, today we're gonna be installing downpipes on our F-150. First, we're gonna watch a quick video how to uninstall the stock catback, and then we'll come back here to uninstall the rest.
So first things first, we got to get rid of our factory catback, and we're going to start by lubricating all of the hangers. And then there's two 13mm bolts on this flange here that we're going to undo as well. That will allow us to push the whole exhaust back and drop it in one big piece. If you are working on the ground, you might have to loosen that clamp right there or bring out the saw to cut this into a couple pieces. But again, since we're on the lift, we're going to take it out in one big piece.
The first thing we need to do is disconnect our O2 sensors so we can reach all the others underneath except for our front driver's side one. So we're going to take our oil cap off first and then our engine cover. Set that aside. All right, now the wire we're going after is this one in the back right here. So we're going to push down our connector and pull that apart. Just like that. You can set that down the side. You can grab that from underneath. And then just for now, you just put your oil cap back on, just so nothing falls in there. All right, now we are moving back on underneath the truck. We are working on our driver's side rear O2 sensor. So we're gonna pull our wire out of our clip right here. And then just pull this connector off. And pull that wire down out of the way. And we could do the same thing on the passenger side. All right, now we're on the passenger side. As you can see, there is a heat shield in the way, so my hands probably will block everything. But there is our front O2 sensor here and our rear O2 sensor right here. Do the same thing and disconnect them. And then pull those wires down. Now we have to remove our transmission cross member. Now to start doing that, we have to disconnect our heat shields first. So there's two 10mm, one on each heat shield, on either side on the top. So we're gonna grab our ratchet and 10mm swivel socket and take them out. As you can see, we have a pull jack here holding up our transfer case. So now we're gonna take our two 21mm nuts off our studs off the bottom mount here. We're gonna grab our impact and 21mm socket and take them off. Now we have two bolts on either side going through the cross member. So we're gonna grab our impact and 15mm swivel socket and an 18mm wrench to hold the nut on the back side and take them off. All right, now that all of our nuts are out, take our bolts out. All right, and if you need to, grab a rubber mallet just to tap it down. And set this aside. Now we're gonna get our flanges off from our turbos. As you can see, I did put a little bit of spray lubricant on our nuts. So there's one here and then one above it over here. This is the passenger side. So I'm gonna start over here. So I have my 3/8 impact, an extension, a swivel, and a deep 15 here. And take these two off. Same for the other one. All right, do the same thing on the other side. All right, now on the driver's side, just to get our correct angle with our impact and extension, we take off our front O2 sensor. Now you can use an O2 socket or whatever you want. We have a 22 millimeter flank drive wrench that we're gonna use. That'll get a good grip. Now we already broke it free, just so I knew it was going to, but it normally would be a little bit harder than this to break it free initially. And then just twist it off. Pull that out. Same tool that we used on the other side with our extension, swivel, and 15 millimeter socket, and take both those nuts off. Now it may be pretty hard to see the top one. Just gonna start with that one first. All right, and then the other one. So now we have to take out our mount assembly because you will see the downpipe is attached to it. So we're gonna take off this silver 15 millimeter bolt here so we can access the other two. So we're gonna take a 15 millimeter ratcheting wrench and take that off. Take that off and set that aside. All right, so we're gonna grab our impact, extension, and 15 millimeter socket. We're gonna take these two black 15 millimeter bolts out here. All right, do the same thing on the other side. Now we're gonna take our two bolts off on the other side here. Now when you do, just make sure you have the exhaust supported because it will fall down, especially because we have everything disconnected. If you want, like I did, I put a couple nuts back on the turbo flanges just to help hold it up. We're gonna get our 15 millimeter swivel in here, take these off. All right, now since the exhaust was getting stuck, we're gonna take this O2 sensor out and see if we can get the exhaust out with that out of the way. And grab our 22 millimeter wrench and take that off. Like I said before, I already loosened these just to make it a little bit easier for me. But you can just get it off right now if you need to. You just wanna make sure that you don't swap up the O2 sensors when reinstalling. All right, now that we have our downpipes out, we just need to take our mount off here. That just slides right off like that. Then we just have our last two O2 sensors. We're gonna grab our ratchet and O2 sensor socket just to make it a little bit easier. Get these off. All right, now with this one, as you did see, we were struggling a little bit with it. We did end up getting it out off camera. We had to use a little bit of heat just to get it out, but it was already stripped and damaged. Sometimes these things just happen and you will need to get replacement parts. So we need to get a replacement O2 sensor and then we can install it in the new downpipes. All right, now we're gonna start getting our new catted downpipes up here. So we're just gonna put them in place, starting on the driver's side here. Gonna move our flange around to get over the studs. We're just gonna loosely install for now. So we're just gonna thread our nuts back on. These are the same factory nuts that you took off earlier. So once we have this one loosely installed, we can do the same thing on the passenger side. All right, we're gonna do the same thing on the passenger side. Only difference is we're gonna thread in our O2 spacer here into the rear O2 sensor. Just because this one does go up through the heat shield, just makes it a little bit easier. Just gonna leave that loose for now. We will tighten it down, but we're gonna put our downpipe into place and thread our nuts back on. Next we have our crossover pipe. So we're gonna put our clamp over first and slide that into our driver's side cat. Just let that rest there and we can put on our Y pipe next. All right, so we're gonna put our Y pipe on. We're gonna put our clamps over first. There and there. All right, and since we have everything loose, this is gonna move around for us to get everything in place. Just like that. Now we can get our mount back into place. So we're gonna put that over our new exhaust studs, the hangers that come out. Remember, this one has that clamp going over, but we'll put that on last. We're gonna reinstall our 4 15mm bolts that we took out. All right, as you see, I just put in our pole jack here just to help hold things up and line everything up. Just gonna thread these back in. Gonna get all 4 of them started first, and then we'll tighten them down. All right, so we'll grab our impact, extension, and 15mm swivel socket. Tighten these down. Same thing on the other side. All right, the same thing on the other side. All right, then we just have to put our clamp on for the other half of the hanger here. So I'm gonna put that in place. Thread that in. And grab our 15mm ratcheting wrench and tighten that down. All right, so now we're gonna tighten our front flanges. So I have my impact with my long extension, swivel, and deep 15mm socket. We're gonna tighten them down. Now you kind of want to go a little back and forth on them just so it doesn't pull it a little weird, tightening it down. All right, do the same thing on the other side. All right, same thing on the driver's side here. So now we're gonna grab our impact and 15mm socket and tighten down our 3 clamps. So we have our first one over here on the back side. And our 2 here for the Y pipe. So now we're gonna get our cross member in just so we can get our pole jack out of the way. So we're gonna get that lined up in place. Make sure you line up with the center mount too over these 2 studs. Grab your mount and tap it in place. Put your bolts through. And even while we're here, we could just thread on our 20mm nuts onto the bottom of the mount. Then we're gonna come back and tighten everything down, starting with our 4 bolts on the outside. All right, so we're gonna thread our nuts on the back side here. We're gonna grab my impact with 15mm swivel socket and our 18mm wrench and tighten them down. All right, and then we can tighten our 2 21mm nuts down in the middle here. We just have our 10mm bolts for our heat shields. We're gonna get them threaded in. Grab our ratchet with our 10mm swivel socket, tighten that down. We just have our same bolt on the other side for the heat shield. Get that lined up and thread it in. Tighten that down with your same ratchet and 10mm swivel socket. All right, so we're gonna start off with our driver's side upstream. Thread that in. Get that threaded in, grab our 22mm wrench and tighten that down. And then we're gonna go to our rear O2 sensor. All right, so for our rear O2 sensor, same thing, we're gonna put our spacer in, thread that in, use our same 22mm wrench and tighten that down. And we can thread in our rear O2 sensor. Bigger wrench and tighten that down. All right, so we're gonna plug in our rear O2 sensor, because remember the front one does get plugged into the engine bay. So just make sure you put your wire into the little clip here, keep it up, and clip the sensor in. We're gonna reinstall our passenger side front O2 sensor. It's gonna go in there, so we're gonna thread that in. Grab our 22mm wrench and tighten that down. All right, I just couldn't really get on with the wrench, so I'm gonna use my ratchet and an O2 sensor socket. Get that lined up on there. Just snug that up. All right, so we're gonna grab our wrench and put our tighten our spacer down that we put in earlier. Then we can thread in our O2 sensor. I know this might be hard to see, my hand's probably blocking it all. We're just gonna thread it into that spacer. And grab our wrench and tighten that down. All right, now we can plug our two O2 sensors in. Now we're gonna get our O2 sensors plugged in. We have our rear one back here, the front one up here. Now my hands are probably gonna block everything. You just wanna make sure that you put your wires back in the clips to help secure them out of the way, and then into the connectors. So our back one plugged in, and then our front one, like that. Now we're just ready to put our stock catback back on. Now we already took all of our other brackets off. I find it just a little bit easier just to put the brackets onto the exhaust first and then just thread the bolts back in. Just to take them off, we're gonna grab our ratchet, 10mm socket, take these two bolts out. Now we're just gonna throw these brackets on our hangers that are on the exhaust, and then we can put our exhaust back up. The only difference is all the brackets have two bolts besides the third one, which is just a 1-bolt bracket, so there's not much difference. As you can see, we have all of our other brackets on. Just gonna get a little bit of spray lubricant, just to help make it slide on a little bit easier. Just put it on our hanger. Then we're gonna go grab a buddy to help us get this in place and get everything bolted up. So we're gonna start by tightening down at our front flange here. We're gonna put our 13mm bolts that we took out, thread them in. Now we're gonna tighten them down like the front ones, just go a little back and forth so it doesn't pull to one side. We're gonna grab our impact and 13mm swivel and tighten them down. All right, now we can just tighten up our brackets for our exhaust. All right, we're gonna tighten up these two clamps. These two are 10 millimeters. As you can see, these are replacement bolts. They're 13, but they would be 10 on yours. Tighten them down. We just have our one at the muffler. All right, and then our last one at our tailpipe. And that wraps up our install of our CVF stainless steel catted downpipes for our 2015 to 2016 3.5 liter EcoBoost F-150. And remember, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.